What's up, everybody? Matt Gajewski here, back again with the Odd Shopper channel. And today we are talking XFL Week 10 bets ahead of the Saturday slate. It is the season finale. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. We are also brought to you by Bet365. As you can see on the banner, they have a phenomenal offer for you guys. Right now, with your first deposit, you can make a $1 wager on any market, and you are automatically going to be paid out $200 in the form of bonus bets automatically added to your bonus bet balance. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. The legal age for gambling in most states is 21. This is only available in New Jersey, Colorado, Ohio, and Virginia. All right. And we're talking bets today. Maybe you can use these promos on one of the bets we'll talk about in the XFL. It is the season finale of the regular season. And today we're talking Saturday games. We'll hit the Sunday games tomorrow. And this starts off with the Orlando Guardians, 9.5-point underdogs to the St. Louis Battlehawks. Those of you that have been watching these videos for any length of time know that I am an Orlando Guardians fan. And I think this team is much better than their 1-8 record indicates. Last week, they pushed, and they were a little lucky to do so, but they've had a bunch of games decided by single digits, 5 to be exact. Their last 2 were decided by 2 points. Those were both losses. The game prior, they beat DC by 1 point. And I think right now it's reasonable to argue that Orlando could have won each of their last 2 games. If we go back to week 8, this Orlando team had 5 turnovers, and the Renegades still only won by 2. And last week, they were in position to pull off a win, and then they threw a late pick 6, ultimately decided the game. Now, maybe position to win is a little too optimistic for this Orlando team, but in position to at least cover the spread and keep it very close and potentially win. But again, a pick 6 really did them in. On the other side of this game, their opponent, St. Louis, this is a must-win for them, but this is a team that just got demolished by Seattle 30-12 last week. They barely beat Vegas in the week prior. That game went down to overtime. A.J. McCarron did return from his week 8 injury last week, but he played pretty poorly in his return. I think this St. Louis team has plenty of flaws, especially they've allowed a league worst 4.7 yards per carry allowed. They allow 3.2 sacks per game. That's second worst. It's actually only ahead of Orlando. And the St. Louis team is 4th in scoring. And I think a lot of people will look at the record of these two teams, see 1-8 on one side, see 6-3 on the other, and think there's a wide gap in scoring. There's not. St. Louis has only scored 20 more points than Orlando this year, which is crazy. Now, again, this Orlando defense is extremely poor, but I'm just trying to point out St. Louis has their flaws that Orlando should be able to use to cover a spread that's now 9.5 points. This is a tricky one. So we've still seen the Battlehawks taking money here. I think if you hold out, you still might get a 10, but 9.5 is completely fine with me. I would buy this at 8.5. I think this Orlando team is still better than what people are saying with Quentin Dormady under center. And Devin Darrington, man, he played an awesome game last week. This roster is actually pretty decent. We'll go back to the Guardians, and we'll take them here. Second game, we have the DC Defenders taking on the San Antonio Brahmas. This one's tricky because we have a Defenders team which is already clinched a playoff spot. They're 3-point favorites here. And the Brahmas, this is a team that needs a win. Somehow they're still playoff eligible, but regardless, the total is 41.5. This is where I want to focus on this game. I think this could go up through 42 at any point. There's a couple reasons why. First of all, motivation, I think, is questionable here. This is a team with a clinch playoff spot, but I've also seen people talking about what does that even really mean in this league? This is a developmental league, a spring league, where players are trying to get to the NFL. The goal of playing in this league is to get tape so then NFL programs can evaluate your talent and hopefully you're talented enough to make that jump. So is there actually an incentive to sit your players in a league that is just a stepping stone for a lot of these players, or at least hopefully? And not to mention, the backups for DC are actually pretty good. These aren't NFL rosters. They're not as large as NFL rosters. You don't have the same depth as other leagues do. So when you're playing backups, the talent level really matters. And when you look at the quarterback position, you're moving from Jordan Tiamu to De'Aaron King. Well, De'Aaron King's put up awesome efficiency numbers. You look in the backfield, Raekwon Armstead's been pretty good this year. They have a slew of good receivers. All this to say, this is a defense or a DC offense which has been able to score. They've put up at least 28 points in 7 straight games. They've gone over 30 points in 5 of those. And even if they take a slight step back here, this is still a team that has plenty of depth and talent across it. So first off, I think DC does their part towards the over. Well, what about on the other side? So again, you have this playing time of starters looming over you. Well, DC's defense hasn't been good, even with their starters on the field. This team is allowing 7.4 yards per pass. That's second worst in the XFL. Now, we're just seeing San Antonio and Jack Cohn come off the best game of the year where he passed for 300 yards. DC has allowed at least 26 points in 4 straight games. They've allowed at least 18 in 7 straight. And now you might be pulling some of the best defenders on this team. Again, the defense isn't as good as people think. The offense is a little better. This should allow San Antonio to put up some points here. So we're going to go over 41.5 as the second play in this game with the DC defenders and the San Antonio Brahmas. That'll do it for us today with the Saturday games as we close out the XFL regular season. We'll have the playoffs covered, though, so don't go anywhere. Let me know in the comments section what you think of these plays. If you're with me, against me, I'd love to hear it. And if you'd like to reach out, I'm on Twitter at Matt_Gajewski. Until next time, good luck, everyone. We'll see you again tomorrow.